now, your main event. Introducing the hosts of Wrestling with Freddie, Jeff Dye, and Freddie Prinze Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Freddie, now known as Wrestling with Friends. And the news of the week is the biggest wrestling news possible. My co-host, Jeff Dye, has returned. And This was the news. Good evening and good luck. Welcome back to the show, man. How are you, sir?
I thought it was food poisoning. We blamed Canada too soon. It wasn't. I had a flu. I had the flu bug. Everybody had it.
Canada. Canada deserved better than me. And my horrible opinions.
No, I blamed it on him. I told you bad information. I'm like the press, you know?
Wait, what if it was the Canadian flu?
That could be. Then we can put it right back on them, can't we? And when you think it's food poisoning, you still hang out with your friends. So I must have gotten like 7 people sick just going like, oh, I have food poisoning. They're like, oh, you can't catch food poisoning. But you can. But you can catch the Canadian flu, and I gave it to him.
You, sir, spread the Manitoba virus across this country.
Yeah.
And everyone has to wear masks now because of you. So
now LA's ruined because I decided to play a gig in Canada.
Well, I had the Manitoba flu shot, so I'll be fine. Speaking of Canadians, they love wrestling. Yes. And so do we, sir. Let's talk a little Monday Night Raw. So the Usos came out, and they're still the best, right? Like, we the ones. And they are. It's wonderful to start the show with them. Sheamus started a couple Friday Night SmackDowns pretty hot, but when these guys do it, like the crowd, they don't care. They cheer them, they'll boo them. They don't give a damn. But this story was more about when Matt Riddle came out and he didn't have a partner because they beat up Ezekiel. Yeah. Ezekiel or Elias? Sorry. Ezekiel's already been exposed by Kevin Owens, a great Canadian man. Riddle comes out without a partner. He says, oh, I got someone, bro. And it's someone you don't like. And out comes Kevin Owens, who definitely doesn't like them at all. And you got to have a little bit more of the story between him and Jay, who got the win on him at War Games. And these guys fought and fought and fought. Eventually, Riddle got exposed in the ring after the match, and they damn near killed him. My son came in at the end and was like, how is he allowed to do this during a match? Talking about, so I go, well, the match is over. They're just beating the crap out of this poor guy. And he was like, oh, okay. How did you feel about the opening of Monday Night Raw, sir? And welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. I liked it, but I'm a little tired of the same story. It feels like with the Usos. I usually complain when things get changed around too fast, but it just seems to be the same thing every week. It's kind of the same finishes, kind of the same stuff. I don't know.
Look, they're the undefeated champs. They haven't lost the belts in over 400 days. Maybe the New Day story should have gone on a little longer, but I still liked the New Day story as far as New Day not wanting them to break their record of how long they kept the belts. But it's difficult. I'll give them a little bit of latitude because it is difficult to tell the same story over and over and keep it fresh. And the story is that these dudes are not going to lose their titles. They tried to mix it up. But I'm with you, like the Riddle Elias thing. I don't think anyone genuinely thought that Matt Riddle and Elias were going to win the tag team titles.
Right.
So if it's not a believable story, just trash it. But I'm with you on it. It wasn't that good. But let's talk about a match that was good because they set up a cool little mini tournament where they are going to have 2 3-way matches. And the winners of those 2 matches then face each other. And the winner of that match gets to face Bianca Belair, the women's Raw champion. She's jacked. She's buff. She's pretty good on the mic. Sometimes on the mic. When there's too many people in there, it's a little hard for her to drive the scene. But we got Asuka, one of my favorites, versus Bayley, one of my favorites, versus Rhea, one of my favorites. And they all got to beat the living crap out of each other. I got to say, my son, he was there for this. He came in at the end of the first match. And we were cheering Asuka the whole time. And then we had Bayley in there and we had Rhea Ripley. And Ripley kind of gets cast out because this really isn't her story, right? Like she's going to have a different story. And I think they showed a little bit of that after the match where she started just beating the crap out of Asuka. But we may have been wrong, I don't admit defeat yet, by saying they were done with Bayley already. because Bayley pulled out the win. She got the 1, 2, 3, and that's going to lead her to the finals, although it's a very quick tournament. But I like this match, dude. These girls, it looked stiff as hell. I know they're protecting each other in there, but Rhea hits hard. Asuka did that combo thing she does twice on her. Like they were going at each other, and I enjoyed the match, man. What did you think?
The Canadian flu has affected my brain and my heart and my soul so much that you're not going to believe this. That was my match of the week. I don't know why I enjoyed it so much. They were like, it was just very, very, like you said, stiff. And even Rhea got a little blood on her shoulder. Not a lot, but it was just fun to watch Rhea Ripley wrestling. I like instead of doing silly things with Dominic, all that. Like I was good to just watch
it. I feel like you say his name wrong on purpose now. I honestly do.
I don't. I just can't remember how to say it right. It's like you and Asuka. You say Asuka and I say Dominic.
And I love Asuka, but I mess her name up every time.
At least I'm saying a name wrong of a guy I don't like, really. I don't really care for Mysterio Jr. Yeah, this match was awesome. It was just really, really good from start to finish, and it felt like watching 3 of the best in the women's division just going at it. It was awesome.
Yeah, it looked like a fight. That's what they're supposed to be. Like, it just looked like 3 people that really don't like each other beating the crap out of each other. And I love that. So the winner was Bayley. So that would take us to whoever wins the final one, or the next one, which we'll get into in a minute. Our favorite, the world's favorite, Mustafa Ali.
Yes, he's getting a push again.
He got a promo where he didn't play himself and where the company wasn't trying to play him. And Austin Theory is cutting promos, bro. Like I talked about this a couple weeks ago when you weren't feeling well. I know I've been critical of him, but dude, like the last 2 that he's done are high level. Like he's killing it. And they're for sure writing for him, but he's owning it. He's owning the language they wrote. I don't know if he's making his own changes, and he puts it on Mustafa in the promo. He's like, yeah, I'm going to give you this opportunity because I'm sick of you hearing about how you never got one. And when I'm done with you, I'm never going to see you. And I was just like, yeah, bro. And not because like, it wasn't a babyface promo. I'm not trying to say they screwed up and made me root for him. I'm simply rooting for him because he's a young dude and I want him to do well. And then my guy, the man, Dolph friggin' Ziggler, came in the ring as he should not have. This is not legal. All right. You do not interfere. The rules. You don't interfere in another man's match, but he did because he wanted revenge. He hates this young kid, this young punk, this young upstart, and he let him know, which disqualifies Austin Theory. But in disqualification, you keep the title. And Mustafa Ali's like, yo, man, what the hell? This is the first segment I've ever got to do where Triple H isn't making me look like a punk and I'm staring at another man's testicles and commenting on them. And you're going to come in here. I could have won this match. And Ziggler's like, yo, man, relax. I'm getting revenge, not just for you, but for all of us. This guy's a punk, man. He was a chosen one. We've had to work and grind it out. And they're getting face to face. And then Austin Theory comes back in the ring, pushes Ziggler. It looked like Ziggler's head went right into Mustafa's face, which was awesome. And then he stands superior and strong the way the heel champion should. I think you like this. This seems like a Jeff Dye match. Did you like the match?
I loved it. Mustafa Ali is so underrated. And I thought they were getting rid of, like we were talking about how like it seemed like he was getting buried. He finally got a push and then got buried. But now this is great.
So we're going to skip over OC and Alpha Academy. The OC got a win, but it wasn't really connected to a story. So of course they got the win. And I want to get right to the second triple threat women's match of the night, which was Becky Lynch, the Beckinator, Bex the Man, versus Alexa Bliss, Miss Twisted Bliss herself, Miss Bliss, versus crazy ass Nikki Cross.
She's back being crazy.
Dude, I love crazy ass Nikki Cross. I personally hated the Nikki ASH, a superhero gimmick. You could put these matches up against each other, Asuka, Bayley, and Rhea, and Becky, Alexa, and Nikki, and kind of see which one was better, but they both told great stories. I mean, Nikki went Nikki in the beginning of the match, and Becky forearms her in the face, and Alexa drop kicks her right in the boobs, and she falls out of the ring and let these two girls wrestle for a bit. And crazy ass Nikki got back in because she loves pain. She feels no pain. Even when she's unconscious, she's happy to be unconscious. And it looked like a fight. And I thought for certain that Becky Lynch was going to win this. I think everyone in the arena thought Becky Lynch was going to win this. She's been the one getting the promo love. She's the one getting to interrupt Bayley and stuff that for sure was not scripted. She's the man, as they say. Yeah. She's the man. I thought Becky was going to win this match. I even called it with my son. He's like, oh yeah, Becky's going to win. I'm like, yeah, Becky's definitely going to win. And I'll be a son of a bitch if they didn't take that one little weird segment from the week before, I think, where Bianca, Asuka, Alexa Bliss are all kind of, talking about the future, and Alexa's kind of spaced out and creepy. And she's like, oh yeah, okay. They're going to take that story because she wins the match, and it's going to be her versus Bayley. And I honestly think Bliss is going to win, and she's going to go evil back to Psycho Alexa Bliss. I genuinely think that's the story. They've given themselves an opportunity to tell that story because she had the weird moment in the promo where she kind of spaced out and went a little Bray Wyatt, although I don't think she'll be a part of Wyatt's stable. I just think she's going to go to like a dark, more selfish Alexa Bliss. But I think she's going to beat Bayley. We're recording this on the Monday they're going to wrestle. And I think she'll be the one to go because Bayley's already gotten her shot. And there's no shame in her losing if Alexa kind of loses her shit completely and goes to another level, because then you're just helping her sell that new character. And I think you're going to have Alexa Bliss versus Bianca Belair. I don't think Bliss wins because I think you have a good thing with Bianca, and it just gives her somebody fresh to deal with before she has to deal with Becky again. But what did you think of the match? You definitely liked the other one more because you called it your favorite of the week. But what did you think about this one?
It was fine. I had no problem with any of the stuff that, was called for in the match. Like as far as like the way it went, the way the match went, I felt like maybe it's because we watched the guys too much, but like, I felt like they kept trying to do things they weren't strong enough to do. Like when they tried to powerbomb Becky through the table, they could barely lift her. They kept trying. And then they were out of sync. And it seemed like every time they tried to do a thing, like they were just not in rhythm. Like even Becky did kind of like a modified rock bottom on the ring apron, or it was kind of like a choke slam where she jumped down, or I don't know what the technical term would be called. And even that was like a little clunky and like out of sync. And it just seemed like they couldn't.
It did look like she was trying to protect her too much on it. Like, I didn't quite get it right. Let me make sure you don't get hurt. Yeah, I saw that too. All right, transitional music. AEW Dynamite. I'm not going to spend too much time here because there's really only two things to talk about. One is the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal, or Battle Royale. I wonder which one it is. I don't know. But anyway, I was wrong on the winner. My reasoning being, I thought the winner of this match got a chance at the belt, and they simply were awarded the ring, and the ring was like a symbol of like the Money in the Bank match, right? But I was wrong, sir. It's a chance to get that ring off of Maxwell's hand. So I had picked All Ego Ethan Page because I think they recognize he's got something there. He's a big dude. He's light on his feet. He did taekwondo. You can tell like he has educated feet, as they say. And he's been getting better on the mic. Like I don't think he needs a manager. I like the way he talks. I really thought he was going to win, but injured Ricky Starks comes in there and he crushes it again and kept his promise that he made the week before. And when wrestlers keep promises, that's when you know they're getting a push, right? Like every wrestler's going to say, I'm going to win this match. I'm going to do it for my family. I'm going to do it for myself. I'm going to do it for the sick kids in the ring. I'm going to do it for the Make-A-Wish kid that I just met, because that's what the babyface is supposed to say. But you can't always keep that promise, but you can't not give that promo. You can't go, well, I might lose, but I'm gonna do my best. Like that's not a promo anyone wants to hear. Although if someone could pull that off in the ring, that'd be great. And Ricky Starks delivered the promo of his career. Some of the backstage stuff he's done, I thought has been like around a a 5 or a 6, and I'm critical on that because I've seen him deliver like 7s and 8s and 9s in the ring. He's better, I think, in the ring than backstage. This was a 10 for Ricky. He absolutely ripped MJF apart, and MJF was there with him the whole time, and he reacted the way he reacted. If it was an ego thing for him in real life, he would have tried to no-sell some of those insults, which he had to ingest a lot of them. And instead of no-selling it, he took all of them and reacted the way a punk would act, reacted the way someone who's insecure would react. And that lets you know how invested he is, not just in himself, but in the business, in AEW. He wants this company to succeed. And Maxwell's response was to just be a chicken shit punk champion. And he goes for a cheap shot, bounces off the ropes, nails MJF with the spear. And MJF did a sell that would make Dolph Ziggler blush. Because not only did he take the spear, he let it knock him right out of his loafers or his dress shoes or whatever those were. Not just knock him out. His legs extended and the shoes kicked up into the air higher than Matt Riddle's flip-flops. And he took that spear to make you believe if Ricky lands this spear on Wednesday night, winter is coming, this match is over. This was such old school wrestling at its finest. This is the way Rowdy Piper would sell that. This is the way like all like the legends who were great at being like heel scumbags. That's how like Brian Pillman would have sold it. Like it's just crazy Brian Pillman. It's just, it was absolutely beautiful. And that's when you know a guy's not just in it for him. He's trying to make Ricky look legit. And I thought he pulled it off beautifully. I can see you champing at the bit. I know you want to say something. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, remember when Terry Funk got chokeslammed out of his shoes at Hell in a Cell by Undertaker?
Yes!
And I was like, oh my God, he slammed so hard his shoes came off. Like it's a beautiful way to sell it.
His feet exploded. Like it's just
pretty cool.
It's so old school. And I just loved it so much. What did you think when you're sitting there watching my man, Absolute Ricky Starks, kill
I wasn't
your friend's favorite wrestler?
I wasn't a Ricky Starks guy. This made me a Ricky Starks guy. I'm in. Like I was like, this is perfect. It was so good. The Battle Royal had some moments that were incredible. Orange Cassidy choking or choke slamming Jungle Boy into the ring apron was insane. Like that just looked like wildly real. And then right before that,
I was going to say I don't know if Jungle Boy will be on TV this week.
Yeah, that was brutal. Also, Jungle Boy did that incredible. He did like a Hurricane Rana, like to get a guy out while holding on. So he held on to the rope so he wouldn't get eliminated. And then Orange Cassidy, of course, kicks him in the ribs. But like that was like there was like two moments right there back to back that I was like, this match is insane.
There was a backstage segment where Jamie Hayter got herself over as the women's champion. I love this girl's accent. All Americans are such suckers. That's why you see like so many British people that get like run out of England because they can't act. They come to America and all the American.
We don't know. We can't tell if they're backed and bad. Yeah, we don't know.
Oh, they're amazing. Oh my God. I'm not going to name any names, but we know who they are.
Yeah.
I love her voice. This was a good opportunity for her without Britt Baker, DMD, to just kind of let herself shine. And she was great with Shivani. By the way, Tony Schiavone the last month has been awesome. The sell job he did when MJF turned on Regal and beat him up and the things he said about Maxwell felt so real and raw and honest. He played with Jamie Hayter in this interview and they allowed some like back and forth. He's felt so much looser the last couple months, but she really got herself over. She said she's looking forward to the winner of the Bunny versus Hikaru Shida. I like Hikaru a lot. English is not her first language, so the promos are never going to be her strong suit, but her wrestling's really good. And I love that she won this match. I think her and Hayter are going to tear the house down. I think it's going to be a great match. You can let Hayter drive most of the talk if you feel you even need it. Otherwise, I just want to see them get in the ring and fight. I just want to go to the Acclaimed and FTR. I didn't know how this match was going to work. I just saw Dax and Danielson compete the week before, or 2 weeks before, and it wasn't my favorite match of the week. Rarely am I bored during a Danielson match, but that match did not grab me the way I wanted to. Putting this guy back in FTR, not that he was taken out, he just had a quick singles match. This is where this guy thrives. I had so much fun watching. My daughter and my son watched this match with me, and they had no idea who was going to win. I did know who was going to win, but I thought FTR could get it a couple times in there. The beginning of the match was all Acclaimed. Then the commercial break happened. They went picture in picture, which I love that they do this. It even made WWE do it. And FTR, you can kind of see in the small picture, starts to get the upper hand. Out of the commercial, FTR is beating the living crap out of my guys. And it's making my kids believe it. I'm like, yeah, they hit hard. My son said that. He goes, Dad, he really hit him. I go, yeah, he really hit him. You got to be tough. The Acclaimed won this. They all scissored at the end. Not in that way, you sickos, in the handshake scissor way.
We saw the signs too, the scissor signs in the background. There was a lot of
people love the scissor. That would never have gotten over in WWE.
No,
never.
There'd be someone out there yelling at them, you can't have that sign.
They throw them out and hear the crowd screaming, scissor me, scissor me.
I actually, whatever they're going by now, I know Valhalla or the War Vikings or the Raider Warriors or the War, whatever the heck they're called. Why I like them so much is because they do tag team moves, right? It's a very old school thing. Maybe it's a 90s thing. Maybe it's a 2000s thing. I don't remember. But when I grew up watching wrestling, all the tag teams had moves where it was two guys doing a thing to their opponent. They were like, it's so fun. And FTR and the Acclaimed had a ton of tag moves where you would see the one guy pick him up, then the other guy would do a thing. Remember when tag teams did that? I love that. And this match was full of it. So I loved it.
It went away for a long time because Vince McMahon doesn't believe in tag team wrestling, right? He would always say I have to pay 4 men for one match.
Oh, God.
That was his philosophy, right? And so he never had a respect for it. So it went away, and a lot of tag teams would just be random singles guys that had no story, and all of a sudden they're tag team partners. Lately, the last couple of years, WWE definitely has their signature moves. Like the Usos have their tag moves that they do with each other. The New Day have their tag moves that they do each other, from the unicorn stomp where they just tag in and out, in and out, in and out, and kick you in the corner, to some of their finishers. I do have a respect for tag team wrestling, and when they get it right, I love it. Friday Night SmackDown, once again, the Usos. We got a tag team championship match between Sheamus and Butch, who was a replacement, I think, for Drew McIntyre. I think it was going to be Drew. And they were brought to the ring by Ridge Hollins. Is it Ridge or Rich? I think it's Ridge, and it should be Rich, but whatever. And they were going against the Usos, who had everybody out there with him. They had Solo, they had Sammy, who's sitting on top of the turnbuckle, hyping them up. It's like, the undisputed tag team. And Sammy should have been the one doing the intros, to be honest with you. I would have rather it been Sheamus and Ridge, because I just think Ridge is such a big dude, such a good-looking dude. They put a great match on. I love that they started. They gave us double beats of the Bowery, which was awesome. And then, of course, the Usos are going to win. I mean, that going in. But still, what'd you think about the opening of Friday Night SmackDown, sir?
It was good. I liked it. I'm on board. Like you said, it's a little bit tough to watch when you know who's going to win. I mean, there's just zero chance that Butch is going to pin, Jimmy Uso. It's just not going to happen. But it was still a fun match and a good start. Got some excitement. A lot of outside fighting, which was kind of fun too. A little bit of two things going on, which is awesome. I loved when
Solo beat the crap out of poor Ridge Hollins, man. Jesus Christ.
Dude, threw him over that little wall over there. I thought he was going to throw him, put him on that soft wall. He didn't. He just kind of chokeslammed him over onto the concrete. It was really good.
That's right.
I think Butch is really underrated. Also, I don't think he'll be. I think they're going to change his name eventually and get him back to maybe Pete Dunne or whatever.
Dude, he was so dope in NXT. He was dope. He was dope in NXT UK when he was in that first tournament they had against that young, good-looking guy with the mustache, and they were in the finals of that tournament. I love Pete Dunne, and
me too.
The Butch thing I don't think is necessary. All right, look, I really like both these guys. I said it before. I don't like this story. Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. I don't get it. No, I do get it. I just don't care and I don't believe it. I get what they're trying to do, but they screwed up bad in this one, man. LA Knight hits the ring after a Bray Wyatt promo, and he's like doing video like commentary, right? Like a YouTuber getting likes and follows while they react to the work someone else did, right?
Yeah.
So he's in the middle of the ring and he's like, well, look what happened last week. See those spooky eyes? Like, yeah, YouTube already saw all that stuff. And then look what happened the week after that. See those spooky eyes right there? Like, oh yeah, that's pretty spooky. And then and I love LA Knight. I just think he deserves a better storyline than this. And he's selling it, dude. He's doing his best to sell his hokey crap. Then Uncle Howdy, who you like and I loathe, but at least both words start with L, so we have that in common. He interrupts the video, and he's saying that LA Knight deserves it. He deserves it. First of all, LA Knight does not deserve these beatdowns. He's a large, beautiful man who should be in a better story than this. So he goes backstage to hunt down this monster, and as a self-proclaimed expert of horror, and I am an expert of horror. I've been in a couple horror movies. I've seen more horror movies than anyone I know. Just rewatched a great Korean horror movie. So here's a side quest for everybody. Check this subtitle movie out. It's called A Tale of Two Sisters. Now, they tried to remake this in America. It was called The Uninvited, and that movie was a piece of shit. But I rarely say that about movies. But when you compare it to something that's already been made, The Uninvited is a piece of shit and did not pay any sort of homage to its predecessor. But everyone should watch A Tale of Two Sisters. It's a Korean horror film. Watch it subtitled, screw dub. These actors are talented enough that you wouldn't even need the subtitles, and they would communicate beautifully what they're trying to make you feel. It's a very old school kind of horror movie. I mean, you're basically begging the director to scare you. And every time you think you're gonna, he doesn't give it to you. He makes you wait. You don't get, I won't say too much because the whole movie flips you on your head, but it's a great film. And they do horror right. It's very patient. And that's what they're trying to do with this is make it like a horror kind of thing, right? And LA Knight's going backstage and he takes his sunglasses off. He's going down the hall. He goes into the locker room and he sees this T-shirt hanging there, which he's completely blocked. What?
I love that he'd get mad at a shirt. Huh? Who put this shirt here in this locker? Why would they do this?
We need to do
I
like
went into a room where there's a shirt and the shirt is here. Why would a shirt be here? It's like
we need to do Criterion commentary like they would do on Laserdiscs for movies back in the day, and we'll just do it on wrestling. So yes, that he gets mad at the shirt, and here's where they really just blow. First of all, the camera operator or whoever is producing the segment has to let LA Knight know to clear the shirt so we can actually see it, right? So we can see what he sees. All I see is his like 8-foot wide back that looks like it could, carry Atlas and the globe on his shoulders, which is a compliment to LA Knight, but he needs to be aware of these things as far as like the camera blocking and stuff like that goes. Then the lights go out and all he does is turn the flashlight on his iPhone. All he needed in this moment was a, hey, what the hell? Like anything like that. And it helps sell that moment. Instead, it's just quiet. So that's a total fail on their part. And then it's just like this horrible turn to a horribly lit mask. They didn't even light it spooky. Like it was just a light on a mask. And I'm laughing. There's nothing scary about this.
Nothing.
No one in the crowd jumped. No 10-year-olds at home jumped. I promise you, no one was scared. So whoever is writing this is not a win. At least for me. I know it's art, and so if you loved it, you're right. But I hated it, so I'm right, because it's from my perspective. And I love horror movies, and I love wrestling. And this failed me on both ends of the spectrum. I'm laughing at it. The light just looked like the way you would see it in a store if you were going to buy it. And since I hate the mask, I would have walked right by and bought a different mask instead. This is my worst of the week. I hated every second of it. And the part that makes it the worst of the week is I love the people involved. So I should
love both these guys. Yeah, exactly.
I should be all in on this. And I just think it's goofy and stupid. And I hope you did too. But if you loved it, I won't be upset.
Also, why did it take him so long to find the flashlight on his cell phone? LA Knight, I mean, it was a pretty long gap of being like, wait, what? Is the segment just black now? Like it's gone to quiet?
With
like
plenty of time for him to say, what the hell? Like plenty of time for any verbiage. Weird. It just was dead air.
This was, it was terrible.
It's goofy. I don't like talking about stuff I hate. Like there's enough wrestling podcasts that do that. I like talking about the stuff I love, but these guys are better than this. And if you can't make it look legit, don't do it because it's going to look goofy. If you can't speak clearly underneath that mask, don't wear that mask. Find one where you can communicate a message to me. If you're going to light a mask and make it look creepy, then do it. There's something called gels and filters. You can put them over lights. You can make it's not like they've never done that for The Undertaker a million times. Like you can make it look scary. And if you can, who was it that said that? I think it was the Dalai Lama or Gandhi. One of these guys said, if you can help, help. If you can't help, just don't hurt. That's a very simple way to live your life. And it's a great philosophy to apply when doing backstage segments in the WWE. If you can help, help. They have the lights, so use them. And the lights come up as LA Knight turns. If you don't have those lights, just don't hurt, which means maybe don't do that segment.
Absolutely. When also, like you said, or one of the things I like that wrestling's been doing lately, at least the WWE, is all the background stuff. They've been really, really good about putting like little clues and hints, things you can click on, right? Like you can like scan a code and it goes to like a website. They did the Hangman with Bray Wyatt. Alexa Bliss has little Bray Wyatt things in the background, the creepy eyes. There's been twice where Bray Wyatt's been arguing with someone off screen in the background. It looks like he's arguing with maybe himself or he's arguing with somebody that you just can't see. They've done that twice. We don't
Husky Harris.
We don't need LA Knight to come out and go and point out, like you said, like, look, did you guys notice like in the background, look at these scary eyeballs. Like I was like, how's it going? Good night. With like the second he was out there doing that, I was like, well, this is me going to go get another drink. This is boring, like stupid crap.
And we've seen LA Knight do promos. We've seen him own the crowd. We've seen them want to cheer him and him make them boo by calling them incels and all this other crap.
Yeah.
Like we've seen him be money. So there's no need to make him look worse when you know he's capable of being better. You know it. It's not like, oh, well, this is the best. We want to make him look good and he's not able to get he is able to get himself over.
Exactly.
So it was my worst of the week. I hated it. But let's move on to something better, because for once in our lives, Hit Row didn't look shitty. For once in our lives. We had a match with your favorite, the Viking Raiders of Destruction and Doom and Valhalla. And I do not like them. I know you do. And they were going against Legado del Fantasma, who are the lackeys for the actual Legado del Fantasma, who no longer wears a mask. And he had just lost his match to Ricochet the week before, so he wasn't going to wrestle tonight, but his lackeys were, and they had no chance. These dudes were dead. Zelina Vega was trying to put him over on the mic, but I don't click with her as a manager outside of what she did with Andrade. Like with Andrade, it worked. With everyone else, it hasn't. I don't know whose fault it is, so I'm not going to point blame. But it's just not, it's not working. They were talking so much during this match that I could not tell you one thing that happened during the match because it was all just commentary and Zelina Vega talking. The only thing good that happened was Hit Row interrupted and beat up the living crap out of everyone. I think Corey Graves, or was it Wade Barrett, accidentally said that Top Dollar was the strongest man on the roster. They should have said largest man, maybe, not strongest. They looked good. And this is the first time they've looked good in months. And B-Fab even did her thing. Like she got a good distraction. She threw a nice kick. And I'm happy for this. If they can't wrestle, then don't try to get them over. I get that. But I think they can. At least as well as some other teams that you're trying to put over. You probably liked the match because you like the Viking Raiders. But what'd you think?
I thought it was awesome. I thought the whole thing was good.
Jeff, B-Fab has an attitude about her. She has a give no F's attitude. She has a confidence about her, even when she's not speaking. Like you can see on her face, like she's just disrespectful, doesn't give a shit about you. She's gorgeous. She's got a good body.
Yeah.
Like everything about her says star. I think they have to be patient with her because she hasn't been wrestling very long. And so they're trying to like develop those skills. And I hope she's busting her ass to be a great wrestler because she's tall. She's not thick, but you could tell she's buff and she can talk and she has attitude, man. She has attitude. And that's such a big part of getting yourself over is being able to just have someone look at you and know your intent. And I love her. I hope this means good things for her. And shout out to Hit Row because Wrestling with Friends has respect for y'all. So don't beat us up. A little tag action with Liv Morgan and Tegan Nox versus Ronda and Shayna. Tegan Nox, I want everyone to take a look at her face and Ronda Rousey's face. It's almost like she's a punk rock version of Ronda Rousey. They look identical. It's so weird. I can't be the only one that thinks this. They look like identical twins that were separated at birth. And it's really weird. And I don't think they should ever be in the ring together. But needless to say, Tegan Nox and Liv Morgan won. And that was Friday Night SmackDown. Jeff, tell the people where you're going to be this weekend.
I'm actually going to be in Mexico on a cruise ship telling jokes for a bunch of people on a cruise ship. So I'm taking a kind of a little vacation, but still getting paid a bunch and telling jokes on the boat. It'll be nice.
You sneaky son of a bitch. So nobody gets to see you unless you're already on the cruise, suckers.
Taking the week off.
All right, you guys. Well, as always, thank you for listening. Make sure you give us love. Give us those 5-star reviews. Give us, or if you hate us, give us the 1-star review. If you think we suck, you can let me know. Write a review. Do whatever you want. Reach out to us on social media. And we'll see you guys next week on Wrestling with Freddie. Wrestling with Friends.
We're out. Follow us on Instagram, Wrestling with Freddie. Twitter is WWFreddie Pod. Follow us on all the socials so you can submit your questions for the Federation.
This has been a production of iHeart's My Cultura Podcast Network. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.